Chúng tôi là Trọng Thắng xin gửi lời chào thân ái đến quý khán thính giả đang theo dõi một chương trình talk show rất đặc biệt trong ngày hôm nay. Như quý khán thính giả thấy ở trên màn hình, chúng tôi có rất là nhiều những cái sản phẩm về cà phê, và trong ngày hôm nay chúng tôi xin rất trân trọng giới thiệu đến cho quý khán thính giả một cái thương hiệu cà phê mới ra đời, nhưng cái nguồn gốc của nó là từ cà phê Việt Nam. Và đặc biệt một người mà quý khán thính giả rất là quen thuộc trong những chương trình quảng bá của Trọng Thắng. Và ngày hôm nay chúng tôi xin giới thiệu trở lại cùng với quý khán thính giả, đó là chủ nhân của thương hiệu, ông Dan London. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, welcome to the show, and thank you for your time coming over here and then talk to our Vietnamese audience about your new passion, which is Saigon Dan coffee.
Yes,
So,
it's always a pleasure to be here, and xin chào everybody. Yeah, you know, I am very excited. Everybody knows me for the past 30 plus years as Dan the Casino Man. And I was telling Aaron earlier, I actually started many years ago in a family business in San Francisco. It was called Coffee Ron's. Ron was my father, and at that time I was Dan the Coffee Man. And so that was actually in the late 70s and early 80s. And I was very interesting because I'll give you a little bit of the history.
please.
If you go back literally 100 years or so, in the United States, when we had prohibition, drinking alcohol was not allowed in our country for about 5-6 years. So there were places that served the whiskey illegally. And there was a very famous, and everybody knew it. It's just part of, you know, the society at the time. And everybody knew it was a world famous, it was called Coffee Dan's. And they used to serve whiskey in coffee cups.
Wow.
To hide the whiskey. And it's world famous. They made movies, it was featured in movies, and it was in San Francisco. Then Prohibition ended and time went on, of course, and you could drink in America. You just couldn't drink from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. legally. In the 60s, my father, the entrepreneur that he was, his name was Ron. He reopened the premises that used to be Coffee Dan's, which was during the Prohibition. And at that time, instead of changing the sign and going through a lot of expense, he was just starting his career in the entrepreneurship. He changed the sign from Coffee Dan's to Coffee Ron's. Then he was also serving whiskey in coffee cups. A few years later, he went legit and he opened a restaurant and a bar, my mother and my father, and it was called, he kept the name, Coffee Ron's. And years later, me and my sister, we got involved in the business. And what's interesting is when we were involved in the business, go back to around the 80s, the coffee, specialty coffee was just hitting America. Starbucks, Peet's, nobody knew who they were. They were just starting. And so we started selling espresso, cappuccino. We went from selling whiskey illegally at Coffee Ron's, and when my father and mother opened Coffee Ron's, they were selling Irish coffee, a very famous drink in San Francisco. And then when me and my sister got involved, we started selling espresso and cappuccino, and it was part of the second wave specialty coffee craze. So I was involved at that time with coffee, and that's kind of gives you a little bit of the history. And then an opportunity came along for a casino position. So then I also, in addition to being involved in the family business in San Francisco, I became involved in the casino business. And so for about 10 years, I did both. I was running family businesses with my family, serving, you know, cappuccinos, espresso, and at the same time, I was in the casino business, and that's when I became known as Dan the Coffee and Casino Man. That brings you up to about 1987. 87, my father passed away, and my mother wanted to retire. We sold the businesses. I went full-time into the casino business, and have been there ever since. couple of years ago, because of my casino career, I've been traveling to Asia, all over. I've been to China, been to Hong Kong, Singapore, Macau, Korea. And a couple of years ago, I started going to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, I must tell you, I fell in love with the country. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the culture. And it reignited my passion for coffee. Because what I found out in Vietnam, the coffee culture in Vietnam is like nowhere in the world. And so just I got involved in it, and I decided I'm going to start a coffee company. And that's how the whole idea came along. I was in Saigon. I had been traveling through different parts of Vietnam, Nha Trang, Da Nang, Phu Quoc, Bun Ma Thuột, and Dalat.
Wow.
I fell in love with Dalat. It's my favorite part of Vietnam. The weather is like San Francisco, and the coffee is the best coffee in the world, but nobody knows it.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm going to start selling Vietnamese coffee. I call the company Saigon Dan, and I'm going to let everybody know, as much as I know, what amazing coffee it is.
Wow, what a great story.
It's a true story. And what's, there's a second piece of the story. I went to Vietnam over the past couple of years, 26 times in 13 months.
Wow.
Okay? And when I was traveling, it was for fun. And like I said, I fell in love with the country. But then I started seeing the people and the work ethic and the lifestyle. And then in the coffee part of Vietnam, which is the Central Highlands, and it's where Dalat is and where Bun Ma Thuột is, I couldn't believe the passion and the dedication of these farmers. And it hit me. The coffee's great. The people are great. The dedication to their craft is top-notch, best in the world. Specialty coffee grown by special people. That became my tagline that's on my bags. Specialty coffee grown by special people. I'm traveling through Dalat. I trademark my tagline, specialty coffee grown by special people. I go back to the United States. I filed the trademark. I have a Saigon Dan specialty coffee grown by special people that's trademarked. This is the kicker. Couple of trips later, I'm in Vietnam. I'm at the San Pacamara farm in Dalat for the first time, who's become one of my mentors, Mr. Nguyen. And as we're walking, I see a wall in his kitchen area, and it says, "No specialty coffee without special people."
Wow.
I'm not kidding. It hit me. I go, my tagline that I trademarked before I ever saw that wall is specialty coffee grown by special people. It came from my heart.
Right.
And then I saw his wall, no specialty coffee. I said to myself, this is fate.
Right.
I must be doing something at the right time, in the right place. And I'm so excited about my hobby, Saigon Dan coffee. And that's the story.
Well, wow, thank you so much. What a great story.
Yeah.
I love to hear, how the product coming from the passion and then the story behind it.
Thank you.
And then you put so much of the efforts and then so much of your heart. It's just like your baby.
It's my baby.
It's your baby.
It literally, I've said that quite a few times. I said, this is my new baby now.
Right.
Yeah, Saigon Dan coffee. And one of the very, very important to me is I wanted to be able to express where this feeling I have about the people, about the amazing coffee culture, and about the work ethic, the passion, how I feel when I go to Vietnam. I feel passion. I feel harmony. I feel joyful. I see this in the Vietnamese people. I see them celebrating during Tet. Like nowhere else in the world. It's amazing.
Right.
And I saw all these emotions, so I decided to call my coffee, the names of the coffee is after the feeling that I had.
Right.
Joyful, mindful, harmony, passion, adventure, celebration. I have 6 coffees, and those are the names. And what was really important to me is that I represent the farmers and the people of Vietnam in a very respectful way. And that's why I have the picture with me,
Yeah.
right, in the conical hat and the formal traditional wear. And on the bag, on the box, on all my packaging are the beautiful trail of the farmers representing the hard work, the passion, and really, truly the traditions of Vietnam.
Right.
So I think we created not only great coffee, but also works of art that represent the feelings and the passion and, you know, the amazing Vietnam and its coffee culture.
Right.
It wasn't by mistake. It was all, you know, I thought about this and it came from my heart.
Right. So, well, if you want to buy or you want to try the coffee, so
Yes.
please go to Amazon.com and then type in Saigon Dan coffee, and then you will see it. You know, lots of different type of coffee, like 6 brand right now, just like Dan just say it. But I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the difference in between each, you know, name of
Yes.
the coffee, like
Yes.
passion? What is the difference from mindful with adventure and
Yes.
others?
Okay, so there's some very specific differences that are unique to coffee. First of all, Arabica beans have been coming to America for years. But then there's Robusta beans. There are
Yes.
2 different types of bean.
Yes.
Vietnam is the #1 producer of Robusta beans in the world.
Right.
And a lot of people may not know this. They're the #2 producers of beans in the world. Brazil's #1, Vietnam's #2 of all the production of beans. And the Robusta beans, which is, remember, there's Arabica and there's Robusta. The Robusta beans, they're the #1 producer. So there's 2 types of beans that we have. We have Arabica bean, Robusta bean. The Arabica bean is a more mild type of coffee. The Robusta bean is more bold, and it's the very rich and chocolatey and a lot of different kind of flavors, where the Arabica is more of a flowery and more of a citrus. But a key part of Saigon Dan coffee, you've got 2 types of beans. Then let's just go back for 1 second. You're talking about from seed to cup. There's an incredible process, as you can imagine, to make the coffee beans, to grow them, and it's a very important process. You know, the plant, it's about a 9-month process. It takes a few years for the trees to get to the point where they're growing, and then they have a harvest about every 9 months. So you have to make sure the beans are with the right climate, the beans are in the right soil, the beans are we call them cherries, actually. And because they look like the cherry and they have 2 beans inside. And when you grow the coffee beans, cherries, you have to pick them at the absolute right time when they're most ripe. And then you have to take the skin off, depulp them, and then you have to put them in a fermentation. This is where science comes into the actual production. It's super amazing what the Vietnamese fermentation, how they do it. It's got to take a lot of love and care and knowledge from, you know, really decades of doing this. And then they dry the coffee out. But we're still not done. Once you have the green beans, and this is answering your question, what's the difference between our different coffees?
Right.
Once you have the green beans, then you have to send them and have them roasted. Okay? So I've developed relationships, direct relationships with farmers in Vietnam who are actually, I'm a casino guy, they're my VIPs now. The farmers are my mentors, and I just love seeing them and how hard they work and seeing, you know, the result of all their work. Once we get the beans, I have a master roaster. It's literally called Master Roasters in Saigon. This is a key part of what differentiates great coffee. First of all, you do have to have great beans. And Vietnam is in the right climate and with the right soil, and it's all organic. And how they produce the coffee is super clean and super healthy. But then if you send coffee beans to the roaster and they don't roast them correctly, they can ruin a bean. So I have a master roaster, Vietnamese, who's been roasting in Vietnam for many years, and he actually partnered up with an Austrian gentleman. They both have years and years of experience on the roasting, and I partnered up with them, and we have a medium roast, we have a dark roast, we have a French roast, we have a espresso roast. These are what differentiates the different coffees.
I see.
So we have Robusta beans, we have Arabica beans, and then we have a variety of roast that is, people, they like a certain type of bean and a certain type of roast.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So now I understand more about, what is the difference of that. So one more time, if you guys want to test this out, want to try it, go to Amazon.com and then just type in Saigon Dan coffee. You will see different types of coffees on Amazon. The price, I think it's affordable.
It is. Let me. So what's interesting is the Arabica beans used to be the more expensive beans.
Right.
And it's good news for Vietnam, because the Robusta beans, all coffee has actually over the years gone up in price. But the Vietnamese farmer is finally getting the respect that they should, and they're getting paid what they should to have a quality Robusta bean being produced. So when you look at the big picture, if you go back to the 60s and 70s, like we talked about when I was, just starting in the coffee business.
Right.
Honestly, fair trade, direct trade, sustainability, that really wasn't on the horizon for the farmers. What's happened over the years, like a lot of social issues and why we pay a little more for our coffee or for whatever product, is because we want to compensate the farmers for the job that they do. So, my prices vary depending on which one you buy. But just for our OC customers, and if you go to Amazon, you'll see Saigon Dan, and you'll see a 7% coupon that they can use. But if you go to, on Amazon, and you punch in Saigon Dan, but if you go to SaigonDan.com, just for today's show, I wanted to be able to do something special. If you sign up for, communication, whether it be an email or a text, so that we can send you different specials, you'll get an immediate 15% discount.
Oh, wow.
And then when you go check out, we have a special code, OC5. If you put in OC5, you'll get an additional 5%. So for signing up to Saigon Dan, you're going to get 15%. And for being in OC with OC5, you're going to get an additional 5. So every product is actually 20% off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, so please just go into SaigonDan.com, and that's where you have more, coffee for your buck, because you has a lot of discount. And on top of it, there's a code like Dan just say, OC5. If you type in that code, and then you have more discount on top of everything. So this is a great opportunity for people who are watching our show right now. And as you see on the table right now, we have different type varieties of coffee. If you have a machine at home, you could buy this type and just put it into the machine and press a button, and you're gonna have a great coffee. And other than that, they have different types. So can you talk a little bit about this new type?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like Aaron Jamtang was saying, we have the Nespresso compatible capsule. We actually have 6 varieties that I was just talking about. And they work in all what we call all original line Nespresso machines. Very, very excellent way to brew the coffee. And I love these. And this is very convenient. So this is a pour over filter. And right now we have it in 3 of the varieties. The Adventure, which is 100% Robusto. And we have it in Joyful, which is 100% Arabica. And then actually we have it in Mindful, which is 85% Robusta, 15% Arabica. It's a blend, and it's a dark roast. So what you do is, and I can just show you, is you simply open the filter, you're going to have a pot of water. So we'll just show you quickly. You take off the top, and then it sits on the coffee cup, and you pinch the little paper to make it sit up. So what you do is you take a hot pot,
Yes.
and it's better if you have a long spigot, and you just pour, probably going to be about 100 to 200 milliliters of hot water, 4 to 6 ounces. It really depends on your preference. But you just pour a little to cover the grounds, and you just wet them, and that's the blooming process. What happens when coffee is roasted, it gets a lot of gas. So when you pour the water and start brewing the coffee, it degasses the coffee, and it actually starts the brewing process. So you pour a little bit to bloom, you wait about 30 seconds, and then it's kind of similar to a fin, then you're a fin, brewer, and then you're going to pour over the rest of the coffee, and I like to bring it up to the top, and you'll see the crema that's forming, and you're really probably going to make. And what I love about the coffee business is it's all personal choice. You may like it with 2 ounces. I may like it with 4 ounces.
Oh.
But the beautiful thing about this is not only is it convenient, you control the pour. So you basically are being your own barista. Okay,
yeah.
And this is very popular, very convenient. And you can take it anywhere, take it to work, take it camping, take it, traveling, and that's called Saigon Dan pour-over filters.
Wow, that's beautiful. Like you see on the pictures
Yes.
right now, you can see it. It's so beautiful and it's so easy. I mean, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Like Dan said that when you travel, just bring with you a couple
Yes.
of the bag, in your purse or in your backpack. And whenever that you want coffee early in the morning, just ask for, like the boiling water, and then you can brew it yourself,
Yes.
and you can do it, as your taste. It's whatever you like. So, and then you have a wonderful coffee, and it kind of like energy for you to start a new day
Yes.
with the Saigon Dan coffee. So follow us on SaigonDan.com. I'm sorry, SaigonDanCoffee.com, right?
SaigonDan.com.
Oh, SaigonDan.com.
Yes, sir.
Just go to SaigonDan.com, and
Yes.
then you can order directly. And there's some promotion going on right now. So this is a good chance for you guys to go and order it right now. Try it, and then you're going to be, become one of the big fan of Saigon Dan coffee.
I hope
just like
so.
myself.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then there's not only one, there's 6 different, tastes.
Yes.
So if you try this one, you like it, and then you try another one, maybe you like it more.
Right.
And then, after you try 6 different one, you will figure out that which one that you love the best, and you can stay with that.
Yeah, when I reignited my coffee passion,
Right.
I wanted to. I have, out of respect to the Vietnam, I have my face on the bag,
Right.
like I explained earlier. But I also want to make sure I have great coffee, because my face is literally on the bag. Okay,
Right.
And so, in order for me to have that kind of packaging, I wanted to be proud of the coffee. And I can tell you, this coffee, what's great about Vietnamese coffee is a lot of people in America have been drinking Arabica for many years. I sell Arabica. It's one of my blends, one of my direct flavors that we talked about. But nobody's drinking Robusta in America. And Vietnamese coffee over the past couple of years is becoming more well known. Now, the Vietnamese community is probably more aware of it. But what I want to tell you is it's Vietnamese coffee, yes. It's Robusta Arabica, but it's the top of the line. It's as good as it gets, and they can compete with any coffee in the world, in my opinion. And I just wanted everybody to know, so I put my face on the bag.
Thank you so much. But you know what? It's come with the mug, and also that very nice package. So I think this is a very good gift. If you go to whatever party, and you can bring, like the whole package as a gift. for your friend and your family. You know, when people like family gather together during any type of holiday, so you can bring the gift and give it out, because that normally after the good meal and you guys gonna go for desserts, and desserts go very well with the coffee. So this is a must have, you know, after the party to give people, you know, awake and then have a good taste in the mouth, you know. So this is great. So
I actually had recently some friends in the Vietnamese community, and coffee is actually quite good for your health.
Right.
And this is very clean coffee. And one lady, I didn't ask her for her permission, but you would know her. She has rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh.
And she started drinking Saigon Dan coffee. And she said, I feel so much better with the, you know, her arthritis. It's actually good for her body. Another person was telling me they have a few kids, and they had a long day. And they started their day with Saigon Dan coffee. And it kept them, you know, got them going for the day. And they had a late night. And then they decided to have more Saigon Dan coffee and went to sleep. And when because they had to get up to go to a certain activity, they went to sleep around 4 or 5 o'clock. They had coffee, fell asleep, no kidding, woke up, felt like they slept for 8 hours. And they're just saying that when they drink the coffee, it really is a refreshing lift to their day. And it's a part of it is because of the Robusta is 2 times the caffeine as in Arabica coffee.
I see.
And it actually has less antioxidants. There's a lot of documented health benefits from coffee, and Vietnam coffee particularly.
So nice. So if you are a coffee fan, a coffee lover, just you cannot miss a chance to try out the new coffee, Saigon Dan coffee. So it's available on Amazon, or you can go to saigondan.com to order it right now. So you will appreciate, you know, the new coffee with the new taste, and you know, six different type for you to try. So saigondan.com right now to order it. So thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Vâng, thưa quý khán thính giả, một lần nữa chúng tôi xin chân thành cảm ơn quý khán thính giả đã bỏ thời gian quý báu để theo dõi chương trình nói chuyện giới thiệu về một thương hiệu cà phê mới, đó là saigondan.com. Người Việt của chúng ta thì rất là thích uống cà phê, và đây là một thương hiệu cà phê rất mới ở trên thị trường. Tuy nhiên đã được rất là nhiều các giải thưởng. Oh, you know what? We forgot to tell everyone about the award that you just won. It just came out to the markets recently for a few months.
2 days?
And then you already had the award. So tell us about that.
Thank you for reminding. Actually, we started live with our coffee just at the end of March. And I was just thrilled because we already received 2 awards. One award was one of the best, actually out of a lot of coffees. We got number 6 for Robusta. For the Robusta medium roast, which is this one right here.
I see.
And it was judged as just a very bold, lovely Vietnamese coffee. And it was actually, the way they characterized it, I was trying to remember, is the best Robusta Vietnamese coffee they've ever had. And this was a blog on Calypso Coffee. So it's actually coffee people that were judging coffee. And we were so happy. We got a surprise and we came in as number 6. And then within a couple of days, I have the bags produced. Actually, the bags are produced in Vietnam, of course. And the design of the bag is really like a piece of art. And I did it on purpose to represent, you know, Vietnam and the passionate people, the farmers who grow it.
Right.
Well, anyway, the company that produced the bag, their regional office in Vietnam, but their home office is in actually United Kingdom.
Oh.
And they just had a competition with all coffee, not just coffee, but all package companies all over the world. And they entered our bag, and we were actually given a special acknowledgement for the most beautiful coffee bag in this particular competition.
Right.
But really what it was is this was a big deal to us because I really wanted the coffee bag to be special. And when I made the bag, my salesman said, our CEO just had a meeting with managers from all over the world. You know, they come in for a meeting with the company, and they want to submit this bag in the annual competition for the design. And he says, is it okay? And I said, oh my God, I'd be honored. And so we received an honor for the bag design, which is pretty cool. Thank you for mentioning that.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Vâng, thưa quý khán thính giả, một lần nữa thì chúng tôi cũng có nói đến cho quý khán thính giả rồi là mới ra đời thôi mà đã được rất là nhiều những cái giải thưởng danh giá và được một cái giải thưởng là đứng hàng thứ 6 những cái loại cà phê ngon, sánh ngang hàng với lại nhiều những cái thương hiệu coffee khác, và đặc biệt giống như là ông mới vừa nói đó là về cái vấn đề mà cái phần trình bày đóng gói thì là cũng đã được một trong những cái giải thưởng đó. Chương trình của chúng tôi chỉ có thời lượng giới hạn, cho nên là quý vị nào muốn biết thêm chi tiết, xin mời quý vị hãy vào ngay trang mạng saigondan.com để quý vị có thể biết thêm chi tiết. Và xin cảm ơn thank you so much Mr. Dan London for coming to our show today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed being here. And try out Saigon Dan like Mr. Aaron says. You'll love it.
Và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong chương trình kỳ tới. Thân ái chào, tạm biệt.